Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Avsada 24/7. My name is Niharika Walia Bhatnagar, and I am with you with the area of A- ABFM. And today we are marking the journey towards almost the end of the series as we are moving towards Module D, hybrid financing. I'm sorry. What do you mean by hybrid, Pata? Hybrid is basically something. Okay. You must have heard about certain species of plants which were susceptible or vulnerable towards certain kind of worms or insects or certain diseases, right? So what they did were they they did some genetic changes on those plants, and they did something which helped them to grow further, and they found a breed which was better than the old one. But one of the things that I've heard about is the wild banana has very big seeds. While we talk about the bananas we have, they have almost insignificant amount of seeds. That's just one of the things that I've heard. Pesticides, insecticides, we use germicides, herbicides, all those things are used so that we can have a better yield, right? Matlab, humans have started to find out even the natural things where a few things which we found beneficial and a few things we just don't. So what we do is we make a mix. Pros and cons of everything is there. So we take the pros of one thing and we accept the cons of one thing, and then we're ready to do the work. Isn't it? That is what we'll be doing today as well. Hybrid finance means the kind of finance which has benefits of more than one finance. Hybrid, a breed, I would say the breed which is mixed and is better than the original ones that were made. But then when the entire study started, or the entire era of finance started, it started with 2 points. Either you use your money or you ask it from someone. Matlab, either I use debt, either I use equity. Now, either I can have pure money outside India from, sorry, outsiders, not outside India. I can have the money from outsiders. Then, when we talk about equity, this is the owner's money. These were the two extreme cases which existed. But equity shareholders were not ready to for so much of risk, but at the same time they didn't want to become dead like debt, because debt means you just get interest and you are not a part of the organization and you stay out of it, which is definitely heartbreaking, you know. Then people said, "Okay, acha, let's find a few ways through which we are midway." These were known as hybrid finance. Technically, I would say this particular entire module D is such an epic form of studies because this gives such beauty to the particular studies altogether. Let me give you a brief about it. They talk about preference shares, where you give preference to another, preference shares. Then we have measure 9 financing. Then we have warrants. Then we have convertible bonds and FCCB, foreign currency convertible bonds. Matlab, we have so many types of bonds that ultimately the organization is crazy level uplifted in terms of finance. Preference shareholders, no, I don't want to take so much of risk. I don't want equity. Debt, no, no, I don't want to take so much of loan and just have interest and I have nothing in the organization. Preference share gets the benefit of equity. They also sits in the particular ownership area, but they also are the loans. They are getting certain amount, secured amount from the company as well, just like that. Mezzanine financing is a kind of financing under which you are someone who has given debt to the company. But if the company fails to pay you, you turn into an equity. Matlab, you will remain debt if the company is paying you well. If the company is not, then you will turn into equity. Warrants, you have a right to receive money. Right means you have the right to receive the shares in future. You don't have an obligation. At the same time, you don't have you don't have to get it right away. That's warrant for you. Convertible bond, the bond which can be converted into equity later on. They're called convertible bonds. And then we have FCCB, foreign currency convertible bonds. The bonds which are in foreign currency and they can be converted. That's the entire crux of all the hybrids that we talk about. But the problem is, this particular chapter covers all of them beautifully. When I say beautifully, it actually covers beautifully because everything would be done in detail what exactly the topic is and how do we deal with it. Okay? So let's begin with the specific questions, everyone. Before I move forward, please go ahead and share this session among your peers and don't forget to like it as well, because ultimately, when you like a particular session, that becomes the motivation for me, right? Okay, everyone, let's start with this particular topic. Warrants are a financial instrument that provides the holder with the right to purchase a predetermined number of equity shares. Warrants are a form of debt instrument that obligates the holder to buy a specific number of shares. Warrant is not an obligation. And at the same time, what do you get is a certain type of shares. You have the right to receive a certain type of shares. Both the assertion and reasoning are true. The reasoning is a correct explanation. Both assertion and reasoning are true, but the reasoning is not the correct. Assertion is true, reasoning is false, assertion is false. Okay. When we talk about the answer for this question, what would be? Everybody? We're talking about hybrid finance. Hybrid means mixture of two. Warrants is the first one to talk about there. So that means in this case, first of all, warrants are financial instruments. They are financial instruments that provide the holder the right to purchase. Matlab, they have covered the point. It is a right. Warrant are a form of debt instrument that obligates the holder to buy a specific number of shares. You have the right to receive it later on. Not right now, but yes, you'll be receiving it later on. So yes, this is correct. The answer would be A. Both are correct. What is the key characteristic of cumulative preference shares? They offer a variable rate of dividend. Dividend accumulates if unpaid. They grant voting rights in a company. Decisions or there are always non-redeemable. Everybody? Cumulative preference shares. But there are two types of preference shares, cumulative and non-cumulative. When we talk about cumulative preference shares, these are those preference shares where the dividend gets accumulated. It stays together. Non-cumulative preference shares are those preference shares in which the organization says that the preference shares are, if the company is not able to pay the preference shareholder in a certain year, then in the next year they will pay it together. Okay? This is something which we cover in this area. Matlab, in first, at one point of the organization said, we will be giving you the specific dividend in this year itself. You're getting the dividend, you are happy. I got the dividend. In the next year, the company could not give you the dividend, not because they were facing losses, but they wanted to save for the future. In the next year, when they paid you D2 plus D3. This is cumulative, everyone. Non-cumulative means D2 missed out, not obligated to pay. It is D1 and then comes D3 for the third year. So in this case, cumulative means to accumulate or to collect. So in this case, dividends accumulate if unpaid. They offer a variable rate of dividend. Dividends accumulate if unpaid. This is the point. The answer would be B. Dividends accumulate if they are unpaid. Another, in the case of preferential allotments in India, but sometimes I will be giving a few people shares because I want them to be a part of my organization, because I feel that they should be the the most vital part of my organization. Okay. So this is upfront payment is not refundable regardless of whether the warrants are exercised or not. Uh, when we talk about the warrants, they are saying that in the preferential allotments are the ones I'm giving you the specific amount of shares and because I want to, and the buyers of the warrants have to pay one after, but you just have to get the warrant right now. Later on, you'll be getting the share. That is true. The upfront payment is non-refundable. No, it's not non-refundable. If you are not able to give the particular shares, because they have the right to receive, there's no obligation, there is no compulsion about it, and they don't have to do this if they don't want the shares. Then what will happen? They are refundable, whether if warrants are exercised or not. If they're not exercised, even then, if the company keeps the money, the company is doing something good. So this is assertion is true, but the reasoning is false. If the dividend is not declared for a year, what happens to the right to receive that dividend in non-cumulative preference shares? The right is retained for future years, the right is forfeited for that year, the dividend is paid for the company's reserves, or the shareholders can vote on the dividend distribution. If the dividend is not declared for the year, if it is not given at all, what happens to right to receive? Non-cumulative just loses it. The cumulative one has the right. Non-cumulative has no right. So he cannot cry about it at all. He cannot be the crybaby, right? So in this case, whatever is happening, he has to accept it. His right for that particular year is forfeited. He cannot cry. Done? Next point. What distinguishes the participating preference shares from other type of preference shares, everyone? Difference between participating and non-participating. Participating preference shares are those where we say ki if there is anything in the business where we talk about participation matlab if the company makes super profit, then the after making the payment to the preference, after making payment to the equity, whatever is left, we'll be sharing with others. That's called participating, right? And then we talk about non-participating. Non-participating means once the company has paid the amounts, what will happen in this case? What distinguishes participating preferences? Participating are the ones, this is the big chunk of profit. Preference shares promised paid. Equity, their consent amount paid. Whatever is left, this is all super surplus, and the super profit is again going in the hands of equity. We are saying that you have got to party. And then that amount is kept separate. When this amount is kept separate, equity will get this entire amount of super profit. Now, this super profit will also be having a share of preference shares, because preference shares that shares say that I would like to get more money. This is participating preference shares. So they are non-redeemable. They offer fixed rate of dividend. Shareholders can participate in surplus, or they have no voting rights. The answer is surplus point, right? The answer is C, because I talked about super profits here. That is surplus. Okay, here comes the next question, everyone. Please go ahead and answer. Hanji, what would be the answer? What is the primary characteristic of non-participating preference? Non-participating means they do not get a part of the profit when the company makes super surplus. They are told, आपको इतना ही मिलेगा. this is what you will get because this is what you wanted. They offer a variable rate of dividend. I wish, but they don't. Shareholders can participate in surplus. They just cannot. They are written non-participating. They have a fixed dividend rate, or they are convertible into equity. Convertible, non-convertible, convertible ones. So in this case, they have a fixed dividend rate. Answer. Under what condition then a company redeem preference shares, everyone? Only in liquidation or shutting down of operations at the company's discretion after the holders vote of redemption or on the anniversary of their issuance. When can company redeem? The company has an option of callable preference shares. Whenever the company gets money, they can pay them off and keep them happy. Because when the company has done this, on what condition can the company redeem preference shares? Only on liquidation or shutting down of operations? No, no. Redeemable means at the company's discretion. The answer is wrong. The answer is actually B. In which country are irredeemable preference shares not allowed? In irredeemable matlab till the time the company is not dying, till that particular time the shareholders are going to stay here. Done. United States, India, United Kingdom, or Canada? India doesn't allow it. In our country, whenever you are issuing preference shares, it has to be maximum for 20 years, not more than that. The max is 20 years. Except infrastructure. Except infrastructure preference shares. What distinguishes convertible preference shares from non-convertible preference shares? Convertible shares grant voting rights. Non-convertible shares offer a fixed dividend. Convertible shares can be converted into equity, or non-convertible have no fixed rate of dividend. Convertible means after being a preference shareholders, the best thing that you can have is share ownership, equity shares. They are the true owners of the organization. So the answer is convertible means the ones which can be converted into equity. What are adjustable rate preference shares known for? Offering a fixed rate dividend, then having a variable dividend, being a non-redeemable, or granting voting rights to shareholders. Adjustable rate. In this case, these people have variable dividend rate. Matlab it can vary. Definitely some people actually look forward to all these kind of money receiving. We can have a variety about it. है ना? Okay. Before I end my session, everyone, have you reviewed our website yet? If you haven't, then why not? Let's go on to our website first and let me show you what are you missing right now. If you haven't purchased our courses, then go ahead and check it out on our website. Go on to this area of www.adda247.com. As soon as you'll be there, you'll find this particular area of CAIIB June 2024. Go on to the area of the victory batch. It is starting from 13th of Feb itself. That means we are coming up with another English medium batch for you. There we have around 350 hours of live classes, 111 test series, as well as 150 ebooks. And all you need to do is click on there of buy now and go ahead with it. You can use the code PREP75. You are getting a percentage of discount of 75%. But if you use the code Y541, you will get a discount of 78% by using our app. That means you can buy it for 5519.77. All the four subjects are covered here. If you're looking forward towards fifth subject as well as revision batches plus mini marathon and maha marathon PDFs and detailed classes as well, all the things have been added in our Mahapack. Then please go ahead and check out our Mahapack so that you can look forward to it. So before that, go ahead and enroll yourself as soon as the batch starts. You should be definitely in the class so that you don't even miss even a single class, right? So keep on learning and keep on growing, everyone. If you find this session helpful, then please go ahead and share it among your peers. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.